The year was 1966. A small town nestled along the Ohio River in West Virginia, Point Pleasant, would become synonymous with a mystery that continues to both fascinate and haunt. The legend of the Mothman was born. This creature of the unknown emerged from the shadows, forever etching itself into the annals of cryptozoology. A palpable sense of unease settled over Point Pleasant. Whispers of strange occurrences and chilling encounters began to circulate. This wasn't just another ghost story or local legend. The Mothman was different. It was real, at least to those who claimed to have seen it. As the days grew shorter and the nights colder, the stories grew more frequent, more detailed, and more terrifying. The legend of the Mothman was taking shape, woven from the threads of fear and uncertainty. Point Pleasant would never be the same. The first documented sighting of the Mothman occurred on a chilly November night. Two young couples driving along a desolate road on the outskirts of Point Pleasant reported a terrifying encounter that would ignite the Mothman phenomenon. They described a creature of immense size, its eyes glowing an eerie red in the darkness. Its wingspan was unlike anything they had ever seen, stretching wider than their car. The creature, later dubbed the Mothman, was said to stand over 6 feet tall, its body covered in a thick dark fur. Its most striking feature, however, was its eyes, massive luminous orbs that seemed to pierce the very soul. Witnesses would later describe the eyes as hypnotic, terrifying, and impossible to forget. Some witnesses claimed that the creature moved with an unsettling fluidity, as if it were not bound by the same laws of physics as earthly beings. It would appear and disappear without a trace, leaving behind only the lingering stench of sulfur and a profound sense of dread. The Mothman had arrived, and Point Pleasant would never be the same. As sightings of the Mothman continued, a sense of foreboding gripped Point Pleasant. The creature's appearances seemed to coincide with a series of strange occurrences: unexplained lights in the sky, unusual animal behavior, and electronic disturbances. Many locals began to believe that the Mothman was a harbinger of doom, a creature whose presence signaled impending disaster. One event in particular cemented the Mothman's place in local folklore: the collapse of the Silver Bridge. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, a major suspension bridge connecting Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed during rush hour traffic. 46 people lost their lives in the tragedy, sending shockwaves through the small community and beyond. The timing of the bridge collapse, just over a year after the first reported Mothman sighting, fueled speculation that the two events were somehow connected. Some witnesses claimed to have seen the creature perched on the bridge's superstructure in the days leading up to the disaster. The tragedy left an indelible scar on Point Pleasant, and the legend of the Mothman became inextricably linked to the disaster. Whether the Mothman was a cause or a symptom of the events that transpired in Point Pleasant, its legend would forever be intertwined with the tragedy of the Silver Bridge. In the wake of the Silver Bridge collapse, reports of Mothman sightings spread like wildfire. Witnesses came forward from all walks of life: police officers, firefighters, ordinary citizens. Each had their own chilling tale to tell, each adding another layer to the growing tapestry of the Mothman legend. Sightings were reported not just in Point Pleasant, but in surrounding towns and counties. The descriptions of the creature, while varied, shared some common threads. It was always described as large, winged, and possessing those unnerving red eyes. Some witnesses described a high-pitched screech that seemed to emanate from the creature. Others reported feeling a sense of dread, a primal fear that washed over them in the creature's presence. Theories about the Mothman's origins ran rampant. Some believed it to be an escaped experiment from a nearby government facility. Others saw it as a supernatural entity, a demon or a harbinger of the apocalypse. The sightings continued for months, keeping Point Pleasant on edge. Section 5. The Mothman in Media and Legend. The Mothman story, with its blend of the strange and the tragic, quickly captivated the public imagination. It became a media sensation, featured in newspapers and magazines across the country. John Keel, an author and paranormal investigator, played a pivotal role in shaping the legend. His 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, presented a compelling, if controversial, account of the events in Point Pleasant. Keel's book, along with numerous other books, documentaries, and television shows, helped solidify the Mothman's place in popular culture. The creature has been featured in episodes of The X-Files and other sci-fi shows, and its story has inspired countless works of fiction. Despite the passage of time, the Mothman story continues to resonate with audiences. The Mothman, whether a creature of flesh and blood or a figment of our collective imagination, has earned its place in the pantheon of legendary creatures. While the rest of the world may view the Mothman with a mixture of fear and fascination, in Point Pleasant, the creature has become something of a local celebrity. Far from being shunned, the Mothman has been embraced by the town, its image adorning murals, welcome signs, and even the local high school's mascot. Each year, Point Pleasant hosts the Mothman Festival, a weekend-long celebration of all things Mothman. Thousands of visitors from around the world descend on the small town to participate in parades, costume contests, and Mothman-themed events. The festival is a testament to the creature's enduring appeal and the town's ability to find humor and even pride in its association with the legend. The Mothman Museum, located in the heart of Point Pleasant, offers visitors a deep dive into the creature's history. Exhibits feature eyewitness accounts, newspaper clippings, and artifacts from the era of the sightings. Standing tall in downtown Point Pleasant is a 12-foot-tall stainless steel statue of the Mothman, its glowing red eyes a beacon to tourists. Despite the enduring popularity of the Mothman legend, there are those who remain skeptical. Scientists, researchers, and those who favor logic over lore have offered a range of alternative explanations for the sightings in Point Pleasant. One of the most common theories is that the Mothman was nothing more than a misidentified bird, perhaps a large owl or a sandhill crane. These birds, with their large wingspans and nocturnal habits, could certainly startle unsuspecting witnesses. Others have suggested that mass hysteria played a role in the Mothman sightings. With the constant media attention and the growing anxiety surrounding the unexplained events in Point Pleasant, it's possible that people were simply seeing what they expected to see. While these explanations may lack the romantic appeal of a supernatural entity, they offer a grounded perspective on the events in Point Pleasant. The enduring mystery of the Mothman lies in its ability to straddle the line between fact and folklore. While there are documented eyewitness accounts and a rich tapestry of local lore, there is no concrete evidence to prove or disprove the creature's existence. The Mothman exists in that nebulous realm where belief and skepticism collide. The lack of physical evidence, however, does not diminish the impact of the Mothman legend. Whether a real creature, a misidentified animal, or a product of collective imagination, the Mothman has become a cultural touchstone. The stories, the sightings, the fear, and the fascination all contribute to a narrative that continues to captivate and inspire. The Mothman story serves as a reminder that not everything can be explained away with logic and reason. Whether you believe in the Mothman or dismiss it as a product of overactive imaginations, there's no denying the creature's hold on our collective psyche. Decades after the initial sightings, the Mothman remains an enigma, a creature shrouded in mystery and speculation. It is a creature that defies easy categorization, existing somewhere between the realm of cryptozoology and the shadowy world of the paranormal. The Mothman is a reminder that there are still mysteries in our world, things that science and reason cannot fully explain. The legend of the Mothman, like all enduring myths, has taken on a life of its own, evolving over time through retellings, interpretations, and artistic representations. Whether the Mothman is a real creature, a misidentified animal, or a product of our collective imagination, its story continues to resonate with audiences around the world. It speaks to our primal fears, our fascination with the unknown, and our enduring need to find meaning in the face of the unexplainable. The Mothman, elusive and enigmatic, remains a powerful symbol of the mysteries that still lurk in the shadows of our world. The Mothman legend, like all good folklore, reflects our hopes, fears, and our innate desire to make sense of the world around us. The Mothman may forever remain an enigma, a creature of the shadows, but its legend will continue to captivate and intrigue us for generations to come.